Hello everyone, my name is Legendroni and this game is Rise of Kingdoms. Ark of Osiris and kvK. The difference between Ark of Osiris and kvK. And when I talk about Ark of Osiris, I'm including Osiris League as well. Now, what can I say the difference between these two? I want to talk from a commander point of view, because as the game is keep advancing, as more commanders that are being keep introduced into the game, obviously a lot of things are changing, and some commanders actually become not very useful in Ark of Osiris, and some commanders become very useful in Ark of Osiris. Some commanders become very useful in kvK, some commanders are not very useful in kvK, and so on. It's exactly like you're choosing a specialization. This is the path where the game is actually leading into. A lot of commanders are having specific roles into the game, and this is where it's actually leading. So I want to do this video and I want to explain you guys a little bit, because obviously in my first season of Osiris League I was in the top 32. In this second season of Osiris League I'm in the top 8. So I'm definitely having a lot of experience, and I definitely can put a high input regarding this matter. Which commanders are excelling in Ark of Osiris, which commanders are excelling in kvK. And I'm also won my first 3 kvKs, now I'm on my 4 kvK. It's still inconcluded yet, because until we get to the ziggurat area there's nothing else to do, just farm. This is what I want to talk about in this video, and this is what I want to explain in this video. Difference between Ark of Osiris and kvK from a commander point of view. Now, before I want to go further into this video, I just want to say that I'm going to talk pretty much about legendary commanders. I'm not going to mention anything about epics, or not so much about epics. It's just about legendaries. I also want to mention, before I go any further in this video, that I'm not trying to downgrade any commanders. I'm just trying to help you guys, because like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, or this is the path that the game is going into. You need to choose the commanders that you want to invest on for a specific reason. Either it's going to be for kvK or it's going to be for Osiris League. So let's just get into it. Watching a lot of Osiris League games and experiencing even myself a lot of Osiris League games, I've noticed a couple of things. So until we met JWM, this is the reality. We managed to win all our games without any other problems, because the teams were using similar commanders and we were using similar commanders. The only difference was probably better strategy, better coordination, a little bit better equipment. I don't know, I personally just have one legendary equipment, and that's from the VIP. So I'm not saying that I have some very high crazy level equipment, but maybe that was involved as well. But what I have noticed on our game with JWM, and that's exactly what determined me to actually do this video, was the fact that some commanders are literally obsolete. So that level of gaming, and if you want to be competitive in Ark of Osiris or Osiris League, there are some commanders that are literally becoming obsolete, specifically for field battles. So specifically for that point. So I've noticed that commanders like Charles Martel, commanders like Attila, commanders like Richard, Julius Caesar, Constantine, Barca, Takeda, these are commanders that are literally becoming obsolete on the field battles. The reason is because they don't do skill damage, or Julius Caesar does like 400, but that's too little. So their input on the field battle is not so impactful if you go versus a team that actually has a lot of skill damage. So in Ark of Osiris, being very defensive will not pay off versus a team that is being very offensive and very nuking. And like I said, we just experienced that, because a lot of our players are actually infantry, and a lot of our players are actually having very defensive marches, and that actually didn't pay off at all. We do have a lot of players that are cav, or the majority of us are cavs, but it was just not enough. It was just not enough firepower. And whenever there were equal fights, we were just getting demolished. We always had to overwhelm them with marchers, and that was very hard to actually do it, but we always had to overwhelm them with marchers for us to actually win. And I did inspect and I did rewatch the video a couple of times, and I've noticed something. I've noticed that they are not using these commanders on the field battle that I just mentioned, like Charles, like Constantine, Richard, Attila, Takeda. They are not using them for field battles. Charles, Constantine, or Richard, they are definitely still very good for Garrison in Ark of Osiris, or they definitely still have that utility. Attila, Takeda, we still use them for rally, so they're still good for that. But they're just not good for field battles. They cause a lot of severely wounded, but it's not helpful. That's not going to help you take down the marchers. That's not going to do enough damage to demolish the marchers, and it's not actually going to give you the win. This is what is the purpose of the video. I just want to advise you guys and girls and everyone out there, what are the best commanders that you want to invest for Osiris League, specifically for Osiris League, but the skill damage in Ark of Osiris is dominating. And to actually make you believe even more about that, when you go in the Ark of Osiris, you can look up there. It's exactly next to where you can teleport, so everyone knows about it. You can check the buffs. In Ark of Osiris you have a 200% damage buff, and I can tell you 100% that the 200% damage buff does improve the skill damage as well, way more than the normal damage. With a 200% skill damage will take down half of the garrison in one skill. So it's definitely not that situation, but it's definitely affecting the skill damage as well. So for that reason, right now in Osiris League, and for the reason of the commanders they are keep introducing into the game recently, that is dominating. Skill damage is dominating in Osiris League. So if you want to be competitive in Osiris League, you need to work on commanders like Frederick. As crazy as it sounds, Frederick, YSG, Double C, Minamoto, Saladin, Genghis Khan, Edward, Alexander. You can do Guan Yu Alexander, that definitely works very, very well. Tomiris has a very important role as well, because her 4 skill is just literally crazy, and if you're actually doing all these skill damaging type of marchers, then Tomiris becomes a very, very important commander for field battles in Osiris League. Then you want to go for Guan Yu, you want to go for Ramses, and we don't have her yet summoned, you want to go for Artemisia. I'm not sure what to say about Leonidas. His direct damage factor is 600. Is for the same reason I haven't included Ethelfled. She only does 800. She does the debuff as well, but you still want to go for pure skill damage. Now I know some of you will definitely not going to be able to have all these legendaries or all these legendaries that I'm mentioning, and you'll definitely do some mixes with epics, but I just want to say, and I just want to give you some advices. If you want to be competitive in Osiris League, you need skill damage, and that is the reality. You need to do damage. Being very, very tanky, it probably works on some weaker teams or some same level teams, but skill damage is just dominating, and JWM just proved it to us. And as crazy as it sounds, one of the marchers they were using was Double C with Frederick. I personally don't actually see the synergy between Double C leading and Frederick as the second in command, except the fact that is a lot of cavs, but that was one of their marchers that they were using. So it's very, very interesting. We lost, so that definitely works. So I want to say again, I just don't downgrade all these commanders like Charles and Richard and Constantine and Attila and Takeda, but it's just how the Osiris League works. So your team, or if you personally just want to improve yourself in the Osiris League or in Ark of Osiris, you need to go for more skill damaging and more nuking commanders. On the other hand, all these commanders that I was mentioning, like Charles, like Richard, especially Attila and Takeda, Constantine, Julius Caesar, these are all commanders that are performing very well and exceptionally well. Sunset Canyon, Lost Canyon, and kvK. The reason I'm saying kvK, and you're probably wondering why am I saying kvK, is because they cause a lot of severely wounded. kvK is totally different. kvK is about resources, speed ups, and activity. These are the 3 main reasons of the kvK. It's not about how much some players spend, it's not about how many T5 players you have, it's not about how many troops you have. The 3 important things of the kvK. speed ups, resources, and activity. All these commanders that I'm actually saying that are not very good on the field battles in Ark of Osiris, they are very good in kvK, Sunset Canyon, and Lost Canyon. Once your opponents are being drained out of resources and they are drained out of speed ups, then what else can they do? Throw their socks at you? No. There's nothing else. Throw rocks. There's nothing else they can do once they run out of those resources. And with these commanders, if you have the numbers, you can literally just cause them so many severely wounded that it will just hurt them so much they will not come out. On the other hand, if you're being outnumbered, then the tables are turning. So you're getting a lot of severely wounded, you're wasting a lot of speed ups, and you're being drained out of resources. So again, there goes the third point when it comes activity. This is what kvK is formed of. Obviously, the nuking commanders still have a role because I'm using 5 Cav marchers in the kvK or during the kvK, so the skill damage still has an important role. It still has a value in kvK as well. But if I would have commanders like Ramses or Artemisia, I would still not use them in kvK. If I'm going to invest, and that is my plan, to actually max out Tomiris, Ramses, and Artemisia, and if I'm gonna do that, it doesn't mean that those commanders, I'm going to use them in kvK. So I'm just trying to make you understand that some commanders are specifically made just for something like Osiris League. So these commanders, I'm definitely gonna use them in Osiris League. They'll definitely give a lot of nuking power because right now I'm still using epics in my marchers. But for kvK, I will still prefer Cavs because they have the mobility and I can always return. But with the archers, I've tried it so many times, and even if I include Ramses, which has so many defensive capabilities, Artemisia, which again has a lot of defensive capabilities, once they are being swarmed in, they are archers, and that's gonna be the reality. They're just gonna get demolished, and there's gonna be a lot of hospital bills for me. But with Cavs, I always manage to retreat in time, so I'm not getting so high hospital bills. I'm replenishing and I'm going back. Guan Yu, on the other hand, I will say that is something that is really needed on both because the silence is very, very powerful. You can literally watch the game between BBTH and Hong Kong Legends, and Hong Kong Legends, they were dominating the battlefield with Guan Yu's, and that's literally one of the reasons they were winning, and especially in the middle. And BBTH, the Alliance BBTH, is very focused on just delivering the arc, and they were failing at the one thing they are very specialized on and they are very focused on, just because the battlefield was being dominated by a lot of skill damage and a lot of Guan Yu's. If the enemy marchers are keep being silenced, they are not doing any skills, right? And the primary skills of any commander, either is it damage or either is it defensive, healing, or whichever, that's the most powerful skill. So if those commanders are not doing any skills, then you're already gaining advantage over them. So either in kvK or in Osiris League, Guan Yu has a very high potential. Before I'm deciding to actually invest in Ramses, Artemisia, and Tomiris, I'm personally waiting for the 2 new Cavs commander. We all know that it has been a pattern for a very long time, maybe a year. Now when they were introducing 2 Cavs commander, they were introducing 2 infantry commanders, 2 archers commanders, then it was repeating. Cavs again, infantry, archers, and now we have archers. So obviously after archers it comes Cavs, and we already have 6 Cav legendary commanders, and if they're gonna introduce 2 more, we're gonna have 8. So I'm really waiting to see how the new Cav commanders are looking, and then I will decide if it's actually worth it to go for Artemisia and Ramses. I have a lot of sculptures, but I just want to make the right decision and the right investment because we are out of Osiris League right now. And until next Osiris League is gonna start, it's still gonna be a long time, so I'm gonna have a lot of time to decide. This is one of the advices I also gave to my members from my Osiris League team, to actually work on nuking commanders, to actually focus on nuking commanders for Osiris League. If they want to be infantry specific, because like I said, there's a lot of my players that are infantry specific, I don't mind. For kvK, we don't mind, and I personally really don't mind to actually have tanks to go in the front and then me going with Cavs, but we just need more nuking on the field battles in Ark of Osiris to actually prevail if we meet in the future teams like JWM, like Hong Kong Legends, that are actually investing in all these commanders and are progressing with these commanders. So this is again, my advice to you, and this is the reason of this video, if you want to play very competitive in Ark of Osiris or Osiris League, you need to work on more nuking commanders. And obviously, like I said, if you don't have that many legendaries, you're not a high spender, you're a medium spender or a low spender, you can definitely do combinations with epics. And my advices about the only epics that I would use would be Sun Tzu, Pelagius, and Babers. These would probably be the only 3 epics that I would add in the combination. And at that point, you're probably gonna use Ethelflaed as well. If you wanna ask me personally why not Hermann, is because I really think he's too soft. He's way too weak. He does have a very nice 1150 2-second silence on the primary target. Rage restoration, I just don't think that he's just cut off for Osiris League. On the other hand, Sun Tzu is infantry from the infantry talents, and you're pretty much gonna use him with infantry. You get a little bit of defensive option, you have skill damage, you have AoE, rage restoration. So Sun Tzu is actually working very well for that. Pelagius, he also has very good defensive option as well. A little bit of healing, damage, rage restoration. The reason I'm saying this is because epics are always a target on the battlefield. We have to face the reality, and that's the reality. Everyone, when they see epics, either is it Pelagius, either is it Sun Tzu or Babers, they just go for the epic. That's what I'm doing, so I'm pretty sure that that's what everyone is doing. And Hermann literally has no kind of defense to actually include him. And these epic commanders that I was actually talking about, these are for the Ark of Osiris or Osiris League. Obviously, these commanders works for the kvK as well. I'm definitely still using them, so they're definitely very good for kvK as well. But just in case you want to include or you want to add some epics in it, these are pretty much the epics that are still worth it right now. kvK is still far away from being maxed out. Definitely she's a commander that is definitely worth it to being used both in Ark of Osiris and kvK, but until she's gonna be maxed out, that's just gonna take a while. So I hope you guys actually understand the purpose of this video. I just want to give you the best tips and advices, or I just want to maybe help you clear up your mind or choose your next commanders that you want to work on or you want to invest on. Probably you're very driven in Ark of Osiris, or you just like to be very competitive. So this is the video that is kind of for you, so you can actually know which commanders to actually invest in. Or you're probably just very interested in day-to-day winning, and that's as well a very good video for you, because you actually know which commanders you should work on. If you have any questions, you can definitely drop them in the comment section below. And until next time, this is your boy Ronnie signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care. Be safe out there, stay safe. See you guys on the next video.